I'm Jam Tone from Best Colorado Videos here on YouTube, and today I want to talk about free, clean, renewable energy. Now this is energy that God's given us that we can get for free, and we can keep using it over and over and over, and we don't have to pay. Now the energy companies, they charge too much money for power and stuff, and they burn a bunch of coal, and they eliminate the Earth's fossil fuels. So I want to talk a little bit about solar energy today. Now in a previous video I watched on YouTube, I learned how to make this interesting solar lamp using $1 garden lights that I purchased at Walmart. Each one of these has a 1.5 volt AAA battery inside of it, a rechargeable battery. It's 660 milliamp battery, which you can easily, with a small screwdriver, take and replace this with a 1600 milliamp nickel metal hydride battery, which will actually last a lot longer when it's charged. But these cheap lights with the 660 milliamp chargers seem to work well as long as you remember to get up and charge them the next day. Really cool lamp I made for my daughter. I made one for my wife too. This was made with 4 $1 solar lamps from Walmart and some free scrap wood and some leftover paint. Okay, today this video is primarily going to be about solar cells. I want to make a big series on solar cells, but first off, I'd like to show you the difference between solar cells. And I like to buy solar cells on the auction because you can get them much cheaper there than if you buy them fully made. Okay? The first solar cells that I want to talk to you about are broken cells. Nobody should be afraid to go buy broken solar cells. Here's why. Because broken solar cells, no matter how big they are, still work. Each one of these solar cells is made out of crystals that draw energy from the sun, and we can easily convert them to electricity by wiring these broken solar cells in series. So we'll do that in another video. But you can buy broken solar cells really cheap online, and it's one heck of an investment. It's really worth it. You can see these solar cells, they are razor thin and extremely brittle. I mean, you can break this so easily. So I would recommend buying broken cells if you're trying to do a cheap do-it-yourself solar project. The next solar cells I want to talk to you about are tabbed solar cells. Tabbed solar cells are a little more expensive, but it saves you a lot of hard work and time buying them this way, because if you buy cells that are not tabbed together, you have to wire them yourself. So the next group of cells I want to tell you about are called tabbed cells. This, I recommend buying them like this more than any other way because it's so easy to make your first do-it-yourself solar panel. Now, each one of these solar cells, right, are good. Every single one of them. It doesn't matter if it has a crack in it or a chip or what. But you have to be very, very, very careful with these because it's so easy to break them. And the trick is to attach them together, because each one of these is like a little battery, a 0.5 volt battery. So you put two of them together and it makes 1 volt on a bright sunny day, of course. Give or take a few milliamps, whatever. If the sun shines really bright, your solar energy, you'll get more power off your solar panels. So even though it's a 5 amp solar cell, a 0.5 amp solar cell, it can actually generate more if it's got a lot of direct sunlight. This is the best way to buy them because you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to tab them together. They're already tabbed. Actually, it's not the very best way to buy them. The very best way to buy them is pre-strung. Those are a little more expensive, but for do-it-yourself solar cells, you could use copper conductive tape to make solar cells out of these broken cells. And we'll talk about that on another video, but I want to show you, before you go, I want to show you another way you can buy these solar cells, and you can buy them cracked. And if you buy cracked solar cells, you can easily tab them, and they're much cheaper to buy. So what you do is you go buy solar cells, like you get a box of cracked solar cells, and most of them come completely intact. Not cracked. Only a few of them in the stack are cracked. I buy all this stuff from ML Solar. I don't buy broken cells. Most of these I've broken trying to do projects and a little bit of stuff. Usually I buy cracked cells. If these cells are broken in half, they're really easy to attach together. So, cheapest way to buy them is like this. Don't try to take your solar cells and stick them against a piece of plexiglass, because over the years the plexiglass will turn yellow and your panels will be ruined. Make sure you put these solar cells up against a nice piece of glass, a regular piece of glass. And sometimes people can donate a window or an old storm door or something, and it can really save you a lot of money. So on the next video we're going to talk about the solar cell, or the solar charge controller and what it does, and the power inverter. Power inverter, we can run just about anything we want off of a car with the engine running and the alternator going. But if the alternator's not going, we need to have something that supplies juice to the battery bank to run this all the time. So that's the reason why people hook up a lot of solar panels. But this converter converts sunlight directly into appliance 110 AC outlets. So that'll be in the next video we're talking about as we set up our do-it-yourself solar panels for cheap. I mean, way cheap. I think I got this whole thing of cracked, the really nice ones that are not hardly broken at all, from ML Solar for like maybe 12 bucks or something. I mean, as opposed to going to Home Depot and buying a $150 solar panel. I'm not against that either. That's a pretty sweet deal too. So on the next video you'll see more about that.